Have you ever struggled to feel enough? Maybe you've stared at your reflection wishing that something was different. Or perhaps you felt like no matter how hard you try, you're never quite measuring up to expectations, to culture, to the version of yourself that you think you should be. You are not alone. I spent years chasing validation in all of the wrong places. Success, relationships, even in serving others, thinking that it would make me feel like I had real value and worth. But at the end of the day, nothing truly filled that longing until I started seeking the truth about my worth in Christ. So let's dive into what God actually says about your worth. And spoiler alert, you are priceless. And that has nothing to do with what you look like, what you've accomplished, or what others think of you. Firstly, you were created in God's image. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Genesis 1:27. I want you to think about that for just a moment. You were made in the very image of God, not randomly, not as an afterthought, but with intention, love, and purpose. Let that truth settle into your heart. The creator of the universe, the one who spoke the stars into existence, who crafted the oceans, who formed the mountains, chose to create you in his image. That means that your worth is not based on what the world says. It's not based on what you accomplish or how others perceive you. The problem is that the world will try to convince you otherwise. Culture unfortunately tells us that our value is found in appearance, success, or approval. It's measured in likes, followers, achievements, and how well we fit into the mold that is always shifting. And if we fall short, we feel less than. We start to believe the lie that we are not enough. But your worth is unshakable because it is anchored in the one who never changes. And you were made in God's image, which means that you reflect his goodness, even in ways that you don't realize. The kindness that you show to others, the way that you comfort a friend in need, the joy that you bring into a room, all of these are glimpses of God's character in you. So instead of looking at yourself through the lens of comparison or worldly expectations, start seeing yourself the way that God sees you. Beautiful, chosen, and created with intention. So take a few moments today and write down 3 qualities about yourself that reflect God's goodness. Maybe it's your compassion, your resilience, your ability to encourage others. These qualities aren't random. They are divine fingerprints of the God who made you. And I want you to keep this list somewhere that you can see. And whenever that doubt starts to creep in, remind yourself, you are made in his image, and that is enough. Your worth is not defined by your past. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. It is easy to believe that our past mistakes define us, that the choices we regret or the things that we wish we could undo somehow make us less worthy. Maybe you've carried shame like an invisible weight on your shoulders, feeling like you'll never truly be free from the past. I've been there too, carrying regret like a heavy backpack, one that I couldn't put down. And no matter how much I tried to move forward, the weight of the past failures kept pulling me back. It wasn't until I started surrendering those burdens to Christ that I realized something life-changing. God never intended for me to carry those burdens in the first place. God doesn't see you through the lens of your past. He sees you through the grace of Jesus. Washed clean, fully redeemed, and deeply loved. The enemy wants you to believe that your mistakes define you. But God says that you are not condemned. You are forgiven, free, and made new. If you're struggling to let go of something from your past, remember this. You are not what you have done. You are who God says you are. Your story isn't over, and His grace is greater than any mistake that you've ever made. Take a moment today to forgive yourself for something that you've been holding on to. Pray and ask God to replace guilt with grace. Write down Romans 8:1 and keep it somewhere visible as a reminder that in Christ, you are fully redeemed. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Psalm 139:14. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wished that something was different? Maybe you compared yourself to others, wondering why you don't look a certain way, why you don't have a different personality, or why your life doesn't seem as perfect as someone else's. I spent years wishing that I looked different. My height, my weight, my hair, my body. I compared myself endlessly, thinking if I could just change something, I'd feel happier, more confident. But the more that I studied Psalm 139, the more I realized God didn't make a mistake when He created me. And He didn't make a mistake when He created you. You were designed on purpose, with purpose. Your laugh, your kindness, your passions, your quirks, all of it was handcrafted by God with care and love. The world may try to tell you that you need to change, that you need to meet this certain standard to be valuable. But God says, you are already enough, just as you are. Instead of focusing on what you lack, shift your perspective to who created you. The same God who designed the mountains, the oceans, and the stars thought the world needed one of you too. So this week, I want you to stand in front of a mirror and speak Psalm 139:14 over yourself. Say it with boldness. Believe it. And then take a moment to thank God for one specific thing about yourself. Your heart, your personality, your strength, whatever makes you uniquely you. Write it down and remind yourself daily that you are wonderfully made. God has a purpose for your life. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Have you ever felt like everyone else seems to have their lives figured out, even though you're still trying to understand where you fit? Maybe you've questioned whether your dreams, your struggles, or even your existence matter. I promise you're not alone in that feeling. There was a season in my life when I felt completely lost, Like I was just going through the motions, waiting for something to change. But not knowing what that was supposed to look like, I prayed for direction. But all I got in return was silence. At least that's what it felt like. But one thing I've learned is that God's timing is different from ours. Just because you don't see immediate results doesn't mean that God isn't moving. Sometimes the waiting season is where He is doing the most work, especially within us. He's often preparing us for something that is far greater than we can imagine. God's plan for your life is good, even if it feels like you're standing still. Even when you feel stuck or unsure of your next step, I promise that He is guiding you. He's shaping you and placing the right doors in front of you at the right time. So instead of focusing on what you don't know yet, hold on to what you do. That you were created on purpose for a purpose. Every talent, every experience, and every struggle, God is weaving them all together into a plan that is far bigger than you can see right now. I want you to write down one area of your life where you need to trust in God's timing. Maybe it's your career, your relationships, or a personal goal, and pray over it today. Ask God to give you peace, patience, and confidence in His perfect plan. Your value is sealed in Christ. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Ephesians 2:10. You are not an accident, and you are not a mistake. God created you with intention, love, and purpose. He designed every part of you, not just your appearance, but your heart, your gifts, your calling. You were made to reflect His goodness and to fulfill the unique plans that He has set before you. Your worth is not something that you have to prove, to earn, or chase. It is not found in accomplishments or how others see you, or in measuring up to a certain standard. Your worth is already established in Christ. Nothing you do can increase or decrease the love that He has for you. You are fully and completely valuable just as you are. So instead of striving for validation from the world, rest in the truth that God has already called you His own. He has equipped you with everything that you need for the life that He designed for you. And He is walking beside you every step of the way. Try setting aside 5 minutes today to pray and thank God for the way that He created you. Ask Him to help you see yourself through His eyes, free from doubt, from comparison, or insecurity. And reflect on the truth that your worth is unshakable because it is rooted in Him. At the heart of everything, you are valuable because your worth is in Christ alone. The world is going to try to convince you otherwise every day, but the truth remains. You are chosen, you are loved, and you are created with divine purpose. You don't need to strive, to change, or measure up to a standard because you are enough. If today's message resonated with you, I would love it if you would take a moment to reflect on these truths and exercises in the comment sections below. And if you feel called, please like, share, and subscribe to build your confidence with Christ. If you would like a daily reminder of your identity in Him, click the links below to explore our faith-inspired jewelry collection, where each piece is designed to reflect God's love and truth in your life. Or if you desire deeper encouragement, consider our one-on-one mentorship sessions. These sessions are designed with 30-day plans that help to build your confidence in Christ, your identity, and help you to overcome any self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Keep walking in confidence and know that He has called you for a greater purpose.